problem just getting to bed.
Yeah, so.
Wow, really stories.
And he's his father.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is kind of
So you
weird.
get C-suite or what?
The old man was a part of
I
that.
can give it back if you give it, man.
I think Cam might have had a rough
No,
meeting
I
last
worked
night.
I worked with Global.
Yeah, it was,
Right.
it didn't look getting to bed.
Yeah.
A number of people protesting at the,
They didn't have that many people in the audience when I saw the news.
He's just about.
I think there were more outside
Yeah,
than Ben.
but I mean, I try to spend as much time with last weekend. You know, the operation, see how, yeah, that's all. That's really. You know, just a director, so.
Like in this case, how does it work? Like it just. handle it? The things like that.
Yeah, so it's obviously two people out of the top, so it's like clean, so we.
Here comes somebody.
Structure. Boiler.
That's cool.
Yeah.
like, it's Davis. Oh, good. Okay, we'll get started shortly.
Somebody else.
Janet, how did you? Are you tan?
Works like
Did you come-
We closed on the lake this week.
Ah,
Last
okay.
We can.
So
Are
we
you
were-
opening the Zoom?
Yeah,
Janet texted
they
me,
should,
she's
I
in the
just
waiting
let
room.
them in.
Okay,
Lisa,
perfect.
can you hear me?
Thank you.
We
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, we're
we
good.
were outside.
Thanks, Lisa.
Doing stuff.
It's a
Great weekend. How you doing, Davis?
Yeah, we do about 20, but.
Good morning, Sean.
Morning, Tara. I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
No.
Trick spot.
Yeah. So that's.
Lisa's here. She's got you covered.
I think 6% of that.
wow.
We have our industrial development agency meeting first, so we're gonna get started with that in just a minute. And then we'll get to the land court meeting, which will contain the Feedmore resolution. So bear with us a little bit, please.
How you doing, Wes?
All right, we're ready to roll. Hey, Wes.
Morning.
Your mom, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot. Appreciate it, guys.
We have Bob Hutchison, Janet McGregor-Plar, Andy Palmer,
Here.
Jamel Perkins,
Here.
Davis Bukowski,
Here.
Wentz Valentin, excused Tom Moses and Bob Reynolds, and Cam will mark as absent for now. Please stand for our pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Motion to open the April 10th, 2024 Hamburg, New York IDA Board of Directors meeting at 7:34 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Janet, thanks, Andy. First item are our meeting minutes. I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 13th, 2024, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Davis. Thank you, Bob. Any questions?
It's 20 years.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Next item is the financial report for March 31st, 2024. I'll review it in our treasurer's absence. So as of March 31st, 2024, we have total assets of $860,038.13. We've had expenditures over the month in total of $15,764.14. We've reported income from interest earnings in the amount of $1,908.05. And then we've had expenses, employee costs, looking for any, our audit was a significant expense for the IDA this month. We paid the audit bill, which had brought us to that total. So for the year, January through March of 2024, we have a negative income of $74,293.49. One additional item, our certificate of deposit is currently held with Upstate Bank. We reviewed in the executive committee rates and options for that certificate of deposit. The committee recommended to maintain with Upstate Bank at 5.4% for a certificate of deposit in the amount of $250,000 on a 12-month CD. We'll look a few months out to stage potentially another deposit to put some additional funds in there. So currently our funds stand in an account with Bank on Buffalo, unrestricted in terms of no 12-month withdrawal penalty. And that rate is probably about 4.8%. And then the certificate of deposit is at 5.4. So moved.
Got a question?
Can I?
Oh, sorry.
Okay, are
Sorry.
you moving it, Andy?
What's that? Yeah, I'll second. It's already seconded.
Yep, we're
Okay,
good.
it's not a
Okay, on the
question.
question, thank you.
Yeah, the audit, and is that something that's funded by New York State, or is that something we have to pay for?
No, that's an expense that we.
And who requires it by law?
So New York State does.
So it's an unfunded mandate?
That's an unfunded one.
Okay, so that our tax dollars that we want to go towards development of Hamburg now goes to auditing ourselves, which I guess would be good if we didn't audit.
Yeah, we need.
But every year, a $5,000 to $10,000 bill for both agencies is a lot of money that could be spent better otherwise. That's all I'm gonna say.
Understood. Any other questions? Motion to approve? All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Thank you. Okay, and my update. I made some changes to the report now that our Paris report is done. Which follow along in the agenda, because I don't.
Where's your update?
it's a
So-
new format.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So there's a new format in here, Wentz. You'll see like a bar chart. It should be in the IDA packet. There'll be one.
Third page. All right.
Good. So how this is represented, Wentz, is essentially projected budgeted expenses. That's our annual budget. That first high line on the chart, year-to-date spend, and then our revenue year-to-date. So ideally, all those will be balanced at some point. In 2024, capital investments. So these are projects within the town of Hamburg, IDA approved projects. We have $8.8 million roughly. So that does put us on target for Q1 of 2024. So that's good to see that number in line. And then below this, Wentz, so there's a box over on the right. So what we're doing here is reflecting to the public, essentially the kind of what's happening within the IDA. So this 2023 payment in lieu of tax revenue, which is your pilot revenue. So that's the revenue generated for the town, the county, and the school districts based off of IDA projects. So, if people ask like, what financially does the IDA do for the town? That's exactly what financially the IDA does for the town. And then below there, again, that year-to-date number is kind of in the middle. And then we essentially roll totals from 2018. So you can see the amount of capital investment and pilot revenue since 2018. So since 2018, there's roughly 144.6 million in capital investment into the town through IDA projects. So, when people ask, what's going on with the IDA, this is a nice snapshot to kind of reflect on.
So, as June comes upon us, are you gonna be adding the villages in there?
So yeah,
Tax revenue.
as the taxes get filled and hopefully received,
Okay,
then so this, gets.
so we'll just The fiscal years for villages are June 1 to May 31. So we haven't sent our bills out yet.
So we can, you
They're
certainly
being
add, you're saying to add a category.
Yep, yes, category. They're being printed, they're at the county right now.
So the other item, because certainly in the financial report, we have we're running a significant deficit for the year. But silver lining are receivable. So when projects are closed, then we will receive the agency revenue for the agency to continue to operate. So we do carry a number there of $235,000 roughly in receivables. Continuing on, we have project employment. So this is essentially, what IGA projects have generated in terms of employment for the town. That number, so what happens is that number did go up, the 1,311. It went up 33 full-time employees. What happens though is, as pilots fall off their obligation, as they're reconveyed back to the tax rolls and the pilots are ending, we'll lose some numbers in there. So as I think a significant one was Autumn View, which is the skilled nursing facility in Hamburg, that fell off. That pilot is over. And so there's probably 120-ish associated jobs with that. So that number will kind of flux as projects come and projects go. New jobs created in 2023 with the current report into Paris, we're up 149 jobs. So that's positive. So that 376 number is up 149 jobs from the prior year. And then in 2024 is the new committed employment of projects. So this is a rather detailed, kind of evidence as to what happens within the IDA. We did one thing that with the Hamburg Development Corporation, we did move the loan application to the website just to make it convenient for people. Typically, people will call and inquire on the loan program, and we'll send out information via email. And just as added convenience, we can certainly still do that, but it's thrown up on the website now as well. We do have the prime sites listed, which are the currently available sites in Hamburg. The one significant update is that Camp Road interchange is, according to the New York State Thruway Authority, that's going back up for auction. They're saying in about May. So we'll see what happens with that. It was put up for auction some time ago. There were no bids on the parcel. It was a rather high opening bid price. So the auction closed with no sale, and they are reintroducing it.
Well, they had that priced over, I think, $4 million.
It changed, that's it?
So yeah, so it just so they did. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak to the internal process. They did hire a local appraiser, to do a review on the site. So there may be some changes in pricing, but certainly we'll communicate that information when it becomes available. And then once the same kind of categories were carried from the prior year's director's report, just kind of summarize. We had some of our social media posts, a sample of it, a save the date. The biggest item, and that will continue on in our new business, is the parish report. In 2023, the jobs are reporting in line on that, so that's positive as well. Any questions?
That's a great report.
Thanks.
The only thing that always mixes me up when I come here, looking for that financial report, it's always at the back. It'd be nice if it was like in the beginnings.
Okay, yeah, we can certainly recollate those. That's easy enough.
But just
I
found
can order the agenda.
yeah,
That'd be perfect.
but this is great, Sean. Looks good.
Once you explain it, it's very easy to read.
Good.
Just a real quick question on 3561 South Park, which building is that?
That's the new building blazed out.
Okay, I just
So-
Googled it, and it's, that might not be the right address, because it's on the other side.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Let me double check.
I don't care, I just wanna know. if
No,
there's
but I want it to be accurate.
Another piece,
3651, maybe.
35, yeah, it might be it. It doesn't.
I'll double check that.
Yeah.
address.
You
I want to have
to
the accurate. info.
I missed the conversation somewhere.
Okay. So continuing on, so, first of all, motion to approve and file the 2023 annual independent audit and parish report.
So moved.
Thanks, Davis.
Second,
Thank you, Janet. On the question. I just want to thank Mary. It's a lot of work getting that all wrapped up between the audit and the parish. It's pretty much the first quarter every year. To do that, there's a substantial amount of information there. You have the audit, which was reviewed by the audit committee and recommended to the full board with no changes. These are also listed on our website, and not only the audit, but the parish report that is required by the authority budget office. So
Everybody's in compliance in Paris.
yes. So the jobs are in compliance, the pilot payments are in compliance. So we're in good order for closing the books on 2023.
Great,
Good job, guys.
great.
All in favor?
aye,
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. Next, I have a motion to readopt the following agency organizational documents and policies as written. Agency bylaws, finance committee charter, governance committee charter, audit committee charter, diversity and inclusion policy, sexual harassment policy and complaint form, real property acquisition policy, reimbursement and attendance policy, combined code of ethics and conflict of interest policy, defense and indemnification of officers and employees, financial disclosure policy, travel policy, whistleblower policy, property disposal guidelines, procurement policy, and investment policy.
I'll make a motion that we adopt the policies as presented.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Bob. On to question.
These are available on the website.
These are available on the website. And we also do provide the hard copy binder that Mary has. If you can bring your binders to the meeting, we can update the policies as well. We did update the fee policy some time ago, so that is not listed on the other policies. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Carried. We do have, I think Mary sent out a report, another document that is required to upload is the kind of the checklist of information that was submitted. I think in the February meeting, we can resend that. There was like the corporate officer sign off form. So there were some forms that might be lagging out there. So we'll follow up with those that have not completed those yet. Next, we have privilege of the floor. Mr. Kryzak, did you want to speak?
Not sure if this is the time or the next meeting, next part of the meeting, not sure.
You're not on the agenda as far as the project, but so now would be a time where if you'd like to speak, you're welcome
It's
to.
very subject project presentation technologies. And I was disappointed to learn of the withdrawal of our pilot program. I feel it was done maybe without all the information that the board was provided. There was a misunderstanding between Sean and myself as to the timing as to when this information was supposed to be provided. The decision was made before that date. I presented some of the information as of the date that we agreed to originally. So I just like to have you reconsider if possible all the information. I'd like to present that to somebody, and some of it's very confidential information. So I'd like a chance to represent that. The investments that we've made, 27-year company, started in Hamburg, stayed in Hamburg, moved other companies from Hamburg. A lot of our future growth coming up is bringing a lot of business from international global supply chain to local suppliers. So it's directly not reflected in the number of jobs that we've created on paper to you. So there's a huge amount of investment, I think, that you're not counting in the assessment of our project. I just ask you to reconsider it. Allow me the opportunity to present it.
if there's additional information you want to present to us, yeah, bring it forward to us and we'll take a look at
Put
it.
that in my letter, some of it, I couldn't state everything in there, but I did put that, some of that in there, and it seemed that.
You have to
I was
understand,
afforded the opportunity.
this, I know we started about what, June of last year, reaching out to companies that were out of compliance. You know, the board is very, during COVID, we were very generous and not, you know, not maintaining the figures, the work figures and so forth, the job numbers because of the COVID situation. We understood that. There's business people on this board that, you know, a number of us suffered, number financially or trying to get, you know, employees and people to work for us in the workforce. But there's also the other side of the coin is we have a fiduciary responsibility under state law to maintain the job numbers that were proposed in the, you know, in the various applications. I did look at the letter that you sent. I know other board members had looked at it. We considered all the information. One of the points in the letter that you had a graph in there, and the graph over what, 14 or 15 years, this is a 15-year pilot, if I remember correctly. Compliance was 3 of the 4 out of the 14 years so far. So there have been some issues with the job numbers and maintaining the job numbers that were agreed to. I mean, when we give out an exemption, we're basing that exemption on, are we going to retain jobs? Are we going to increase the jobs? And we need to keep those numbers up over the course of that financial benefit that the companies will, you know, would receive. So if there's something in addition to that information that you provided, we'll take another look at it. But at this point, at this point, the board has made its decision.
I know.
So
it's
if there's
not
something
just-
extraordinary, be up and beyond that, what we're aware of, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
We're not
That's all I ask.
anti-business here.
That's all I ask.
All right, thank you. Okay, any other comments? A few more folks are here for the next meeting. Any call for executive session? Motion to adjourn the April 10th, 2024 Hamburg IDA Board of Directors meeting at 7:54 a.m. Sorry, did you say something, Lance?
I move everything. Exactly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Jamel. Thank you, Wentz. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, we're closed. Just a reminder, May 8th is our next meeting. We're going to be meeting at the Hamburg Volunteer Fire Hall in the 301 Union in the village of Hamburg. I'll send out a couple reminders on that so we don't get people screwed up in the morning due to a public hearing for an upcoming project, 7:30. Okay, next is the April 10th, 2024 Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting. I'm just looking to see if there's any other participants on Zoom. We'll go to roll call. Bob Hutchison. Here. Jan McGregor-Farr.
Here.
Andy Palmer.
Here.
Jamel Perkins.
Here.
Davis Pekulski.
Here.
Wentz Valentin.
Here.
Am absent and excused are Moses and Reynolds. A motion to open the April 10th, 2024 Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation Board of Directors meeting at 7:55 a.m.
So moved.
Second.
Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Andy. First item on the agenda is a motion to approve the meeting minutes for March 13th, 2024.
So
Second.
Bob, thanks, Jamel. On to question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Okay, next item is the financial report. From March 31st, 2024.
Now Bill's in the front.
So I got papers everywhere.
I couldn't.
All righty. So, for March of 2024, we have, income, through interest in the amount of $3,639.35. Audit expense, $4,000. Just a comment, because there is a variance between the ID and the land corp, less transactions, less reporting. So therefore, the lesser expense, which leaves us with, net income for the month of $360.65. Over the year, we have a positive, net income of $9,186.66. Total equity is $1,690,070.84. Motion to approve.
So move up, Janet.
Nope, second.
Janet, okay, Andy, Janet, on the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, carried. Quick update. I'm not sure where that left off, but the grant, the Fast New York grant letter of interest has been submitted. I do need to follow up with ESD just to see if we get the approval or invite to submit full application for some funds to do pre-development, pre-permitting activities there. Site signage should be installed definitely by our next meeting. Dig Safe has been called and marked the area. The signs were in production, so those should be out. You'll see them on Mile Strip Road, on kind of the east and west side of the property going up. So that's great.
Sean, I'm sorry, not to interrupt, but Fast New York, I mean, like the letter of interest, is that just to say, hey, we think we got a property that might work here, or walk me through that quickly?
Yeah, so Fast New York is a program, the funding resource through Empire State Development. So we applied, essentially we said, look, we'd like to apply for funds for this grant. So the guise was that if we can do the development activities, the pre-permitting activities that the town of Hamburg adopted, that pre-permit law, move the land project north of the Ford plant through seeker and through planning, we would, spur development there. Essentially, take out some development hurdles. And then also put in some conventions to development that may be in line with what the town would like to see there. So, that I think we estimated that would cost about $250,000 for a 22-acre parcel. So we applied for based on their match, we would look to apply for $50,000 to support that project and move it through pre-pro.
And do we have a timeline on it?
Typically their notifications of funding would be in the fall. So if we would be approved to submit a grant, we would submit the grant typically, I think by late July. And then in the fall, there's really no set date, but typically in the fall, they would, notify you.
Thank you for explaining.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay. I'm a little out of. I'm gonna do the report. Director update, annual audit. Which I don't have, but I can get it. So I have a motion to approve and file the 2023 annual independent audit and parish report for the Land Development Corporation.
Motion.
Thank you, Wentz.
Second.
Thank you, Janet. All in favor? Opposed, abstained, carried. All right, that is complete. Next is the resolution authorizing the execution, sale, and delivery of Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation tax exempt revenue bonds, Feedmore Western New York Foundation, Inc. projects in one or more series in an aggregate principal amount. This is a not to exceed $50 million and the execution and delivery of related documents. So I took some excerpts out of the resolution just to highlight for the board, whereas the Hamburg, New York. There's anybody else on Zoom? The Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation, the issuer, has authorized and empowered by section 1411 of the Not-for-Profit Corporation Law of the State of New York as amended. Its certificate of incorporation filed in the office of the New York Department of State on March 17, 2010, the certificate and resolution adopted by the Town of Hamburg Town Board on March 8, 2010, to relieve and reduce unemployment, promote and provide for additional and maximum employment, better and maintain job opportunities in the town of Hamburg, and lessen the burdens of government and act in the public interest. And whereas Feedmore Western New York Foundation Incorporated, a New York not-for-profit corporation, has requested that the issuer issue its bonds in one or more series in aggregate principal amount not to exceed $50 million for the purpose of financing as part of a plan of financing for a certain project known as Feedmore Western New York Consolidated Campus, located at 4832 Camp Road, Hamburg, New York, 14075 in the town of Hamburg, Erie County, New York, consisting of the application of an aggregate maximum principal amount of bonds to the planning, design, engineering, construction, and operation of a facility related to the institution's activities of providing meals for the needy, containing approximately 197,000 square feet of space, including warehouse space, commissary, growing spaces, office and meeting space, and repacking space, including building improvements, modifications, upgrades, and related site and exterior improvements, and the acquisition and installation of certain items of equipment, machinery, and other tangible personal property in and around the improvements, and interest, if any, paying certain other costs incidental to the issuance of bonds with items above being hereinafter collectively referred to as the project cost. And whereas, in accordance with section 147F of the code, the issuer conducted a public hearing with respect to the issuance of the bonds on Wednesday, March 6, 2024 at 8:30 a.m. local time at Hamburg Town Hall, Conference Room 1, 6122 South Park Avenue, Hamburg, New York, following the publication on February 23rd, 2024 in the Sun of a notice of said public hearing. And whereas the institution has previously submitted a full environmental assessment form, whereas the Town of Hamburg Planning Department, as lead agency, conducted a coordinated review of the project pursuant to SECRA, which resulted in the issuance of a negative declaration by the Planning Department dated November 1st, 2023. Now therefore be it resolved by the Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation as follows. It is the policy of the state to promote economic welfare, recreation opportunities, and prosperity of its inhabitants, to actively promote, attract, encourage, and develop recreation and economically sound commerce and industry for the purpose of preventing unemployment and economic deterioration. It is among the purposes of the issuer to promote, develop, encourage, and assist in the acquisition, construction, rehabilitation, and improvement of facilities for not-for-profit corporations, by relieve and reduce unemployment, better and maintain job opportunities, and lessen the burdens of government. Just letting somebody into Zoom. Pursuant to receipt of the approval of the town supervisor of the town of Hamburg, New York, the issuance of bonds pursuant to and solely for the purposes of section 147 of the code, the issuer is hereby authorized to issue, execute, sell, and deliver the bonds to the underwriter in accordance with the provisions and the terms authorized in this resolution. Each of the authorized officers of the issuer hereby authorized on behalf of the issuer to execute and deliver the financing documents on such terms and conditions as shall be consistent with this resolution and approved by an authorized officer. The execution thereof by such authorized officer constituting conclusive evidence of such approval. We're almost there. Pursuant to the receipt of the approval of the town supervisor of the issuance of the bonds pursuant to and solely for the purposes of section 147 of the code and the other limitations contained herein, the issuer through an authorized officer is hereby authorized to issue, execute, sell, and deliver to the trustee the bonds in the aggregate principal amount up to $50 million in the form hereto approved of this resolution pursuant to the act and in accordance with the loan and trust agreement and the bond purchase agreement, provided that the bond shall be issued solely for the purpose of providing funds to assist the institution to finance the project costs, administrative, legal, financial, and other expenses of the issuer in connection with such assistance and incidental to the issuance of the bonds. And such costs are more specifically set forth in the financing documents. And the bonds and the interest thereon are not and shall never be debt of the state or the town of Hamburg, New York, and neither the state nor the town of Hamburg, New York shall be liable thereon. And this resolution shall take effect immediately, and the bonds are hereby ordered to be issued in accordance with this resolution. So moved. Thanks, Andy. Second, Bob Hutchison. On to question.
Who's our bond counsel on this?
Our bond counsel on this is Harris Beach.
Let's say $100 million project coming into the town of Hamburg. It is a very good thing, and we want to welcome Feed More, and we know you're going to do more than just put food and packages together. You're doing a training program and other educational programs that you'll have there. So I think it's going to be a great facility for the town of Hamburg.
Any other comments or questions, Lisa? Good.
So I'd just like to say on behalf of FEDOR, we really appreciate the consideration. We're incredibly excited about the project. As Sean noted, it's 197,000 square feet. It's commissary warehouse. As you noted, it is also a training program. We've got our RISE workforce development training. We're currently doing logistics and culinary. We'd be able to grow that in the future at the new location with more space, in addition to serving all 4 counties of Western New York in terms of our home delivered meal and pantry services and all of our various wraparound services. So we're really excited and we're looking forward to being in Hamburg.
Thank you.
I want to note my recusal as well.
Okay, Mel, you will abstain. Any other questions? We'll do a roll call vote. I have Jamel, Andy.
Yes.
Wentz,
Yes.
you moved it, and Davis.
Yes.
Motion carried. Great, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, on to agency bylaws. Motion to readopt the Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation agency bylaws as written.
So moved.
Thanks, Janet.
Second.
Thanks, Jamel. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained? Opposed? Carried. Privilege of the floor for the Land Corp executive session. Motion to adjourn the April 10th Hamburg, New York Land Development Corporation meeting at 8:10 a.m.
Motion.
Thanks, Wentz.
Second.
Thanks, Andy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone on Zoom.